Hello, Diane. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Marisa?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for being here on Amá CONVERSA. And I am so excited to talk to you today. So, for the listeners out there, Diane is a DJ. And just a little bit of a background, she is the youngest out of 10 siblings. And could you only imagine being in a family with 10 siblings, right? I
It was
have
interesting.
one.
It was interesting.
Well, I have two actually, but I grew up with one. And so I can't even imagine 10.
Yeah,
And she is the only American born out of her family, and they immigrated to Massachusetts from Faial. And
correct.
not only that, but her paternal ancestors were actually in America, in California, on the completely opposite side, in California, and they came here in the 1800s. And then on your mom's side, your grandma and your great grandma were both born in Massachusetts. So is that safe to
Correct.
say that at some point they went back and your mom was born in Fayal, and then you were the only one born in America out of your immediate
That
family?
it that is absolutely correct. So, my great great grandparents were living here in the United States. I believe my great great grandfather was in the military, and they had to come here for whatever reason. My
Mhm.
great grandmother was born here. Then they went back to the islands, and basically the same thing happened with my grandparents too.
Wow.
My grandmother was born here, and then they went back to the Azores. My mother was born in the Azores, and then they came back here to Massachusetts.
That's interesting. So then,
It is very
um,
interesting.
I'm not sure if your mom or if you ever asked your mom, but how was it for her having an American mom, basically an American mom in
Yep.
Fayal, right? So how was that
Yep.
experience for her? Did she ever get a chance to talk to you about that?
So for my mom, it really wasn't much of a difference. She didn't see herself as an because she spent her entire life, well, until she moved here to the States in 1970.
Hmm.
She was 100% Portuguese, but for her, it was um, always on her forethought, thinking about how great life was going to be for her children coming to America, because it would
Got
be
it.
easy for them. They didn't have to go through all the craziness because my grandmother was American born, so my mom can easily come here on the visa. So
Yes. Well, that's very good.
yeah,
So basically, your grandmother always spoke Portuguese perfectly,
correct,
even though
correct,
she was born in America, like
right,
her mother was as well. So that means that
correct,
they always either got married to somebody that was Portuguese or always spoke
right.
Portuguese and involved with their Portuguese community in the States, right?
Correct, correct. So my grandma, I never knew my great grandmother, but my grandmother didn't really speak any English at all, and my mom spoke it very brokenly. So, even the word "girl" that to us is an easy word, but my mom would say "gil." Oh,
Oh,
you
yes.
gilled.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
it's like fish gills.
You know what? Yes, I've definitely heard that, and I've definitely heard plenty of calling a he a she or she a he or I don't know what. But
Oh yeah, every word is backwards.
I've definitely heard my share of funny things, especially
Yep.
my father came from Portugal, so sometimes he says some very um, colorful or interesting things, right?
I can
And
imagine. I can imagine.
yes. And then another thing that I know about you, Diane, is that you and your spouse have two adult daughters. And I think we've spoken that your daughters were around my age, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that correct?
28 and 29.
Yes, 28 and
Yep.
29. And you also have two grandchildren, Mateo and Mila, right?
Correct. Mateo is our Christmas baby. He just turned 2 years old.
So cute.
And
Happy
Mila will
birthday to
be
him.
4 months old.
Oh
Yeah,
my
thank you.
goodness, 4 months
Mila will be
old.
4 months. So yeah, they're
Oh,
beautiful. We
congratulations.
love them to death. Actually, Mateo's coming here tonight, so I'm looking forward to it. He's staying the
Woo!
night with us. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. We cut Emilia's hair. She's 3 years old. My daughter's 3 years old. We cut her hair for the first time yesterday. And
Oh, wow. How
I
was
had
that?
a breakdown. I had a mom moment. I cried.
I can imagine.
But she looks so
Yeah,
cute.
I can imagine.
But it's just like she looks so not grown up, but
Older.
Yeah,
older.
She's
Yeah,
not a
we
baby.
Mateo just had his first haircut, also actually his second haircut.
Aw.
But this time his godmother, which is our oldest, Christina, she is Mateo's madrina, and she cut Mateo's hair for the first time. She is a hairstylist, so we knew that it came out really good.
It was only fitting,
Mateo's
right?
right, exactly. And Mateo's gotten into this habit of playing with hair, including his own hair, where he would literally just pull it almost and pull.
Ooh,
He would pull his own hair. So
you're like, oh, no,
my daughter and her husband.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. My daughter and her husband decided to cut his hair shorter to keep him from pulling his own hair. So Peter, my son-in-law, gave him a real nice short haircut, and we're still all trying to adapt to it because he had these beautiful curls. It's tough looking at him now. He's like a little older human.
She had like little curls at the ends that were kind of like blonde, and they were just,
that's how Mateo was.
Her little baby hairs, and all gone now. But yeah, it's life. You cut it, it grows, whatever, you change, you grow up.
Yep. Absolutely.
But another thing about you, Diane, is that not only are you a very successful DJ within the Portuguese community in Massachusetts, you do also special events like weddings or any type of anniversary or a corporate event or anything that somebody needs a DJ for, you're definitely available.
Correct.
Which is fantastic. But not only that, there's plenty of DJs out there in the world, but I have actually tuned into your sets on Radio Universo 20, and I have to say, I am very impressed by you. You're not just a regular DJ whatsoever.
I try not to be.
No, you're definitely not. And you're very creative, and you're very interesting to watch. I love to watch you, and you're very engaging. When you watch your lives, it almost feels like we've known you for a long time. Even if we're just tuning in for the first time, it feels like we've known you for a while. So I wanted to know a little bit more about your DJ background, and when did you start doing DJ for events, and then when did you start doing virtual DJ, like for example on Radio Universo 20? When did you start doing the physical, and when did you start doing the virtual?
So I started DJing, really just meddling in it, probably about 20 years ago or so. With some festas here in Massachusetts for a Portuguese community in the city of Lawrence. We used to do some DJ events back then. Then I stopped doing it for a while.
I've been to Lawrence.
Have you?
Too. Yeah.
That's where I grew up. Lawrence is my hometown. It's where I grew up. So the Portuguese Club, I'm sure you were there. I've DJ'd there before.
I went to one of them for sure in Lawrence.
Yeah. So that and any private parties or anything like that. And then I stopped doing it for a while. Also started caring for my elderly godmother. She didn't have any children. I took care of her for the last 7 years of her life, and she lived here in our house with me. She passed away at 102 years old. She was a huge part of my life.
Put a bunch,
she was,
man. 102?
Thank you.
That's
102. And she was a huge part of my life. I know the Portuguese language primarily because of her.
Wow.
My parents obviously spoke Portuguese as well, but my Portuguese is not 100%.
In there a little bit.
I apologize. Internet the way it is.
No worries.
So she lived on the second floor of my parents' home, and my parents were obviously on the first floor. And because I was the youngest of 10, my godmother helped my mom quite a bit with
That's
helping with
great.
me and my brothers and sisters and such. So it was my way to give back to her and take care of her where
So
she really
sweet.
didn't have anybody else to take care of her.
Aw.
So everything Portuguese has to do with my parents, for sure, but giving it to
The
her, I
language.
mean,
The language.
150%. Music, she used to always sing. My passion for music is basically because of her.
Oh,
And
wow. How special.
so I stopped doing anything musically for the 7 years that I took care of her, because she was my priority in life at the time.
Yes.
And after she passed away, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing what I love. And I started doing my own Facebook Lives, did a couple of events for some friends and such, engagement parties, whatever it was. DJing is not something that I have to do. It's something that I love to do.
And
So
you
it's
can
not,
tell that you love it. Like, you can tell that you love it. When you're doing it,
it's right.
It's your mannerisms.
I do.
It's your mannerisms. Like, you really start dancing, you get into it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's coming from someone that has done a few lives on radios, on Facebook, like Radio Universo 20, and I had the pleasure of being on Radio Universo 20 in November.
And we loved having you.
Thank you so much for that invite. And what you do, people don't really know this because we're just watching. We don't really know. But,
right.
But when you take a random person, kind of like me, out of the crowd, and you're like, hey, try to do it. And then we try to do it. And yeah, we give you guys a lot more respect because it is not an easy thing to be on a live, especially on a page like Radio Universo 20 that has a following of 20,000 people. And it can get a little bit overwhelming because not only do you have to prepare the set, but you need to be prepared for whoever is there on your live on that moment, that day.
Exactly. So your mind is going everywhere, and
yes,
it's kind of like being at a tennis match, and you're constantly going back and forth, and you're trying to engage with your audience, trying to respond back to everybody, making sure that you have the right playlist going, making sure that the sound and the video and everything else that I use, I mean, it's a whole production. There's some people that will just use a cell phone, and that's fine. People use what they have, but I actually have a pretty big setup where it engages more with people, where I can put their comments right on the screen. So now I'm managing two computers, the computers for the software with the video and audio piece of it, and then I'm managing my laptop for my DJing. So it's quite a bit of going back and forth.
It really is.
Sometimes I'm like,
Yes.
But back to your question, when I started Radio Universo 20, that was back in September, where they actually reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in participating and being one of their house DJs. And of course, I was super excited about it and took advantage of it. At that time, they had 2,000 followers, and that was in September. And yeah, it's grown quite a bit, 2,000 followers. And we've grown quite a bit. And, you know, I can't see myself going to another radio. I've had 3. Thank you. I've had 3 other radio stations reach out to me, and I've turned them down because my heart is with Radio Universo 20. It just is. It's a great group of people. To me, they're family to me. So I'll continue with them for me.
I honestly, thank you so much for that invite again. That live was fantastic. I remember being just super taken aback with all the different countries that I had in my life. I actually took the time the next day, which this just shows you a little glimpse of my life, that I don't have a job anymore. So I used to be very meticulous in my job. So I've transferred that energy to this and my child. And so I went the next day and I literally read I literally read all the comments, and I tried to like all
Yeah.
of them, and I tried to
Yeah,
respond.
it
Sorry.
is pretty awesome to see. It's pretty awesome to
Yes.
see how many people from around the globe that tune in. And even if they're not on the live at that moment, they're catching it again, either
Yes.
an hour after, the next day, 2 days after. My New Year's live, I had over, gosh, I think it was over 38,000 views for my New Year's live.
Oh my God.
So it just shows that people are constantly going back to look at these videos.
My
So
Lord.
having, and that's one of our goals for the radio station, is to bring in as many people as we can, as far as, you know, artists like you, bringing them in and let the world see and
Yes.
hear these
Thank you so
beautiful
much.
voices.
You guys are
So I
amazing for
mean,
your service.
you're amazing.
You're amazing. No, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. But honestly, no, honestly, you are amazing, and everybody at Radio Portuguese-American is amazing. We actually brought in Alison da Silva
Yep.
as, wait, let me like backtrack a little bit. So after the live, I was invited to be the Madrinha dos Fados for you guys, which was amazing.
Correct.
Thank you so much for
Correct.
that.
Me being in Mexico, listening to
Yes.
your
Oh
voice,
my gosh.
which was
I'll never
amazing.
forget. Diane called me on a video chat from Mexico. And I was trying to be a very gracious person on the other line, but I was fuming with envy inside, saying, I want to be in Mexico with you. It's just beautiful. I honestly love Mexico.
I had a couple drinks in your name.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I just love Mexico. I can't wait to go back.
I do
Hopefully we can go back together. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
And I need to take my husband. He's never been there, and I know he's just gonna
He would love it.
have a blast. Yes. But totally, I can go on and on about Mexico. I'm going on a tangent there.
Yeah.
But no, we had as Madrinha dos Fados, we invited Alison da Silva from your neck of the woods. And before that, had you have heard of her before that?
No, actually, and surprisingly, no.
See, there's all this talent hiding out there, Diane.
Yeah,
we must find them.
There is, and that is, like I said, our goal is to be sure that, you know, everyone who has these vocal talents can be part of our radio station, so that everyone can see. I mean, we have dedicated listeners either from Switzerland, Australia, Luxembourg, France, obviously Portugal, the Azores. But when you get the Australia, that's mind blowing. That
it's so
there's this community of Portuguese people in Australia, the UK. You know, they're all over the globe, and it's just wonderful.
I forgot how many my life captured, but I think within a few hours it was able to get to 4K views, and it did have, I think it was 30 plus different locations that people were from.
Correct.
Not necessarily like countries, unless it was 30 countries and 70 cities. I honestly forgot what I did there, but there was a post about it. I'm a numbers girl, like numbers for me, like
there was much. I think you were right after your live, a couple hours after your live. I think you were at about 15,000.
Well, I didn't know that. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it was about that.
Wow. See what I'm talking about? That's
next time we get you on, we just need to figure out the hours, because so that's one of the things that, being here in the United States, for such a broad audience, you know, for me, I'm 3 hours ahead of you. So when I'm on, I need to figure out, all right, what time is Portugal up until? What time is France up until? Because Portugal, the Azores is 4 hours ahead. Portugal's 5 hours ahead. France is 6 hours ahead. So it's all about trying to capture all of the audience at the same time. So being you from California, 3 hours behind me, you know, we just got to plan it right.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Those numbers will jump.
100%.
But the funny thing about what I call my radio family, when I speak to them, I'm obviously the only true American on the
Well, you got
radio
me now.
team.
I'm super
Well,
American.
and you, yeah. So you're pretty much like me.
Yes.
But we had a conference call with everybody from the radio a few months back, and it was funny. I was speaking my Portuguese that I think I speak pretty darn well.
You
And
do,
they're
actually. I've seen your responses and stuff. You are
they're
very,
like,
very good.
they're like, wow, you sound like an American speaking Portuguese. I'm like, I am an American speaking Portuguese.
Can I tell you something real quick? So I did an interview the other day, and I tried, God bless me, I tried to do it in Portuguese, and I survived the first 12 minutes of the 34 minutes. So thankfully for me,
especially when it's for somebody with the mainland.
Yeah, well, and it was.
Yeah.
And so my husband is from the Azores, so I'm used to just hearing him speak Portuguese. Yep. But my father is from Continent, so I do have, thank God I have been exposed for a very long time to that. But it's totally two different things for me. And it was a little bit hard to follow. I am going to be completely honest. So that was a good thing for me, because it was even where I already know I have to practice. First off, I already know. But it was even more of a push for me that, hey, you know what? You need to either start conversing more with your family or people that live in Portugal, or you need to start picking up Portuguese books and reading and literally looking up every word that I don't know and writing the notes on it. That's the only way I'm going to learn.
That's exactly how I am too. I have to write things down in order for them to
I'm the same. I have to write it down. I write down everything, and I'm not kidding you. But like I told you, like all this energy I used to dedicate to my job, and I did that for the last 10 years of my life. So when you don't have that anymore and you're used to doing that every day, it's very weird is a low key word for it.
It is.
But it took me like 2 to 3 months to actually get into the flow of things. And I'm still always learning and adjusting and whatever. But just connecting with you and other people alike has really been, like I wake up every morning energetic. Like I wake up every morning super excited for life, super happy. My husband sometimes tells me to calm down because we haven't had the coffee yet. He's like, relax, girl, relax. Everything's good. Calm down.
That's too fun.
But honestly, I just wake up so happy because talking with you all is very fascinating to me. And we all have a common goal. And we all have a lot of the same interests. So when you kind of find your little bubble of people that like if you've ever felt like an outcast, like I have, when you find a group of people that are on the same page as you, it's just very welcoming and inviting and warm. And like I said, like not only do I feel like I've known you for a while, and I've only known you since November. I feel like I've known some of the other people on the Radio Universo 20 for a while. Right. It's amazing. So
the thing
Diane, I'm so sorry. We have 7 more minutes left.
Okay.
So that to me just tells me that I'm gonna have to have you again for part 2 because I'm loving it.
All right. Absolutely. Okay. But just real quick before you move on to the next question.
Of course.
One thing about the radio family, they don't only look at the exterior, they look at the interior of the person, and they base it on who you are as a person, not what you look like, not what you've done in life. It's you, how humble you are, and how you embrace people and our Portuguese community. That's what it's about.
Yes, that is very true. I think that you definitely hit the nail on the head. People want to see that humility, especially during this whole crazy year that we had. That's what a lot of people that we can see are lacking. They are lacking humility. They are lacking the fundamental skills of humanity. So that's why it's amazing what you guys do. And this is just going to be a trickle down effect. So you guys are revolutionaries at what you're doing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And there is some other things that I did want to talk with you about. So before we leave today, I want to just say thank you again for being here. I'm very excited for not only this episode, but for part 2 as well. And I'm very curious, who is your favorite DJ, Diane? Can you tell us?
Oh man, I actually have a few of them. I mean,
you feel like you're going to betray one if you say one is your favorite than the other?
Probably. But Steve Aoki is pretty amazing. Marshmello, pretty amazing.
Yes.
I mean, just anyone. It's not necessarily like these big names either. It's anyone who can engage with the audience. Probably.
I think we did because I seriously love this.
Probably.
Amazing.
It's anyone who can really engage with the crowd and knows how to feel what the crowd wants. Like, for an example, my live on Saturday, I never play slow romantic music type thing because I love the pimba, I love the machas, I love the upbeat,
kizumba, and whatever.
Yeah, all stuff that you can just jam out to.
Yes.
And I started playing some slower songs and everybody was all over it. And I even asked them, I said, all right, I'm going to go with what you folks want. If you want me to continue this way, then I'll continue. And everybody, yes, continue. Okay. So that was my first live that I did all romantic slow music.
I think that is, you
so
definitely, you definitely touched on a subject that's very important. I think that in order to be successful as a DJ or somebody in the music like that, what you're doing, specifically what you are doing, you do need to fill it out because, or else, who's going to be liking your stuff?
You have to engage.
You have to engage. Exactly.
If you don't engage, even as a singer, as a DJ, whatever you're doing, even if it's customer service, if you do not engage with the audience, with the customer, with whoever, doesn't matter, your newspaper boy or girl, whoever, if you don't engage with them, they're not going to have that mutual respect for you. So
you are literally talking about what I've been talking about for the last 3 weeks or so, or 4 weeks. You are talking about that basically you have to live your life purposefully. You have to live your life with intent. And that's exactly what you're talking about there. And so I want to get into that with you next time. But I do have some other random questions for you because you did tell me you were an open book. So I wanted to go ahead and stick it to you. So what is your favorite Portuguese song to play at a festa, like a real live festa? And what is your favorite Portuguese song to play now on live Facebook?
So I really love anything Roberto Leal. Anything Roberto Leal.
We are best friends. We are best friends.
Love anything Roberto Leal.
Fantastic. I love him.
Favorite song? I mean, I have quite a few favorite songs. It depends on the day of what's going on in my life. There's an awesome Portuguese song that I absolutely love. It's called Cinco Dias. That one is Cinco Dias. There's a couple of different artists that sing it. It's pretty good. I'll send it to you later. It's a really good song. Anything from my local artists here. I'm always supporting my local artists, David DeMello, Nelson, Rigo, just any of my local artists. I try to help and support. Jorge Paida. Everybody knows Jorge Paida. To me, he's a local artist because he's from Massachusetts. Genazario, like Arlindo Andrade.
There is a lot.
We have so many in this area.
Yeah, there is actually.
Yeah. I'd love to play more Joey Medeiros. I know he's in your neck of the woods.
Yes.
I would love to play some more Joey Medeiros music. He also has very good music.
Yes.
But his music shuts down my lives every time. So I have such a hard time with that whole Facebook copyright.
Thank you, Facebook, for that. You are a winner. Not.
Yep. Right.
And then I wanted to say, what is your so that covers.
Well, you didn't ask me what's my favorite Fab song.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite Fab song?
So it has to be a Carlos do Carmo song.
Of course, okay.
And it's Lisboa Menina e Moça.
I already knew that. I already knew that. Yes.
That is my favorite Fado song.
And of course, 2021 just had to start with a bang for the Fado world. That wasn't fun to wake up to whatsoever.
Yeah. Also, A Minha Velha Casinha is another one that's one of my favorites. My godmother used to sing that all the time. So before it became a rock version,
yes,
my godmother used to always sing it all the time with the original tune. So to me, it was huge.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, you know, all we need to say is rest in peace and continue to always talk about him, continue to always play his music, and he will never die. Never.
No,
just
absolutely not.
Just like
He's
Amalia.
a legend. Just like Amalia. Legends.
Never die. Legends never die. And
That's right.
I think I already covered all of my spontaneous questions for you.
All right.
Is there anything else that you would like to say for the ending?
Just make sure that everyone stays happy, humble, and healthy.
100% agree.
Those three things. Happy, humble, healthy.
And happy 2021. And if we always keep those three things in mind, I think we'll make it again. We'll make it through, right?
Yep. And just, working in the healthcare industry, that's, for me, it's huge.
That's another thing we didn't cover today. We will cover that.
We can talk about that afterwards. But safety is huge. I'm getting my COVID vaccine on Monday, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. Well, thank you for that, Diane. Thank you for all your hard work in the medical industry. I can't even imagine how that's been this last year.
It's been a ride.
It's been a ride for sure. And we will dive a little bit into that on part 2. I just want to say thank you again so much, Diane, for being here with us today. And Amá CONVERSA will love to have you back for part 2.
Absolutely. Reach out.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.